Now, falloffs allow you to control where your fields affect your instances. They almost serve like a mask. Let's look at a quick example here. Now, falloffs will control what is and is not visible about all fields above them. So let's take a look at this example. You can see here that I have a randomize and a field image on here. If I grab my linear falloff field here, you can see that as I drag across, I'm removing the effect of both of those fields. However, if I come over here and I drag the randomize option here beneath the linear falloff, you see that the randomize stays unaffected, and I'm only affecting the Blender image being revealed. Now, we've included two types of falloffs. We have the linear falloff, as you see here, which moves in one linear direction and affects everything in that direction. We also have the spherical falloff, which works with a spherical pattern and allows you to control the inner and outer radius. So let's take a look and see how we can actually apply a falloff. So here I have an array system, and I've added a field transform that just shrinks those instances. So if we add a falloff linear here, you will see that it just resets my field transform. And that's because it's looking for an object to tell the transform what to use. Let's go ahead and we're going to grab this empty here. Now we can take our empty up here and control our effector. You can see I can drag this back and forth and get a linear effect. I can rotate it, I can scale it, and more. If I come back here and look at the array settings, you can see I can invert the falloff to switch it back and forth, or I can change the radius as well. Now down here is when you can start getting some really fun effects. You can choose to blend between add, subtract, and multiply. Let's take a look at add and multiply. So here, this is the add falloff control here. Let's add a subtract one. So I'll come here, I'll add a second falloff linear, and I'm going to choose the falloff subtract up here. Let's take a look at what that effect could look like. Here, I'm going to grab both of these and move these back. I'll grab the falloff add, and you can see that as I go through, it is adding the transform effect, so scaling everything down. And as I come here with the subtract, it is removing the previous falloff by subtracting that one. That's actually exactly how I made the wave effect in this animation here. You can see here that I actually have an add and subtract empty going right there really closely to one another with a small radius. So one's adding the effect and one's removing the effect of the pins going up and down, and it's creating this wave-like effect. Now the spherical falloff is applied in the same exact way, with the only unique difference being that it has an inner and outer radius that you can control, which is visualized by these two empties here. Now, another interesting thing about falloffs is not only can they control all the fields, they can actually control your materials as well. Let's take a look at how to do that. Now, we have a drag and drop solution, but I'm first going to show you how to do it manually so you understand what's happening. I'm going to open the shader window here, and what we need to do is call upon the attribute from the falloff. If I twirl this down, we can see that it is reading and writing an option here called falloff. If I were to pull this down here and create a mixed color, we will put orange in one here, and then we will put white in the other. We're going to plug that into our material base here, and then we're going to drive the factor with the falloff. So I will come up here and look for an attribute, set this to instancer, and just type in falloff here. I'm going to drag that into the factor, and now you can see that it is driving the falloff of that shader transition. So as I move that around, you can see that it is changing the shader. Now, as I said, this may feel a bit complicated or overwhelming, so we actually have a simple solution for this. If you come to the asset browser, you come to the MoGraph toolbox, you come down here to the materials, we have a shader falloff, but if you just drag and drop this on here, it will give you a shader setup already ready to go. Now, if it is grayed out like this, all you need to do is select everything, search make local, select all, and you can see here that now you have a little setup mixed between two shaders. That's actually how I'm changing the color of the object here. You can see that I actually have a falloff over here that's moving up and down into the object and changing the color between these two materials. Now you can do a lot of really cool and interesting things with falloffs. So for example, here I'm using it on these two array systems here to one, generate an array, turn on a field transform, and then use a falloff that then controls the position of that field transform, creating this satisfying loop. This sample scene is included if you'd like to check it out and learn more about how to use falloffs with a hands-on example.